Elation and jubilation, gamers from all around the world. I am Lucian and this is the World Gamer Show. So yeah, Resident Evil RE-verse.
What? What is this?
What is it?
It's the upcoming online multiplayer game set in the world of Resident Evil. And in the last days I participated to the closed beta on PlayStation 4 and I'm here to tell you all about it, what you can expect and what I think you shouldn't expect. So let's dive right in. RE-verse is the new online multiplayer game by Capcom that will be packed with the upcoming Resident Evil Village.
So we finally meet.
The 8th mainline chapter in the long-running series of survival horror games, which will be released in May the 7th, 2021. I also want to remind you that what I've played is a beta. The game is still in full development and all my considerations here need to be taken for what they are, personal opinions based on an incomplete game. Anyway, we're talking about a deathmatch based game, at least deathmatch was the only option available, where up to 6 players at the same time can do battles in stages taken directly from the whole Resi lore. You get to play as your favorite characters, finally. After Umbrella Corps, after Resident Evil Resistance, you finally take Jill, Leon, Ada and all the other classic characters to compete online against other players. From this point of view, you might think it's a little bit similar to the versus mode from RE5, but there is much more than that, as we'll see later on. Anyway, while this might turn off some fans, others will certainly rejoice with being able to go back and play a multiplayer game with your favorite characters, rather than the anonymous Umbrella mercenaries in Umbrella Corps, or the generic youngsters from Resistance, the multiplayer game packed with the remake of Resident Evil 3. After all, this is a celebratory game for the Resident Evil's 25th anniversary, so it makes sense for characters and stages to be taken directly from almost all the previous games. Even though the only arena that was present in the beta is the police station from RE2. Characters all control more or less like the most recent remakes in third person. You can move, point your gun and do both at the same time, even if in a much slower way. But there are a few differences. There is no melee attack button, which has actually become a skill for specific characters, and also gone is the sprint button. In its place there is a dodge move which consumes a segment of stamina that replenishes over time. Some characters have 2 segments, most have 3. Each character is very different from the others, and comes with a specific set of weapons, a passive skill and 2 active skills. So there will be a lot to experiment with and choose the one that works best for you. Even though I think there still needs to be some more balancing. I think that Hunk is a little bit overpowered. One active skill allows him to become almost invisible, and in the heat of the action can be really hard to spot him. The other active skill he has is a powerful melee attack, which is almost a guaranteed kill. Join the two and you have a very overpowered character in my opinion. The flow of the multiplayer experience is actually quite peculiar and goes like this. You start your match, you wander around, try get some powerful weapons. By the way, you can store up to 4, including 2 of your basic weapons you come with by default. You collect herbs when you're low on HP. Speaking of herbs, you can use them only on the spot and if you're low on health. You can't store them. And the same goes for the ammos, effectively eliminating any item management, which, to be honest, I think that given the context it's for the best, and keeps the gameplay fast and immediate. The more you kill, the more points you earn, as usual, but the developers also included a revenge mechanic, which is pretty neat. Basically, you earn more points the more kills in a row you manage to get, But if you get killed and your kill streak gets interrupted, you can still get it back by killing the player that got you in the first place. Nice. But probably the most important mechanic in this game is linked to a specific kind of item you can find in the levels, the virus vials. The more you get, up to 2, the better, because once you die you get the chance to transform into a BOW, the monstrous creatures from the Resi universe. Which one depends on the amount of virus vials you got. It can range from a simple molded from Resi 7 all the way up to Nemesis, with various others in between. When you are a monster, things change slightly. Your HP constantly decreases, even when nobody's hurting you, but all the other opponents become visible through walls, so that you can easily spot them and bring them mayhem. While it makes absolutely no sense from a Resident Evil point of view for the characters to inject the virus themselves, I have to admit that's a peculiar and fun mechanic, basically an excuse to make you play as the monsters. Not all creatures are fun to use, like the fog molded, the most basic monster, is no fun at all, and that sort of hunter thing is also pretty lame. Things get much more fun when you get to play as the more powerful monsters, like the Tyrant or the Nemesis. The creature roster also includes a recently added fan favorite, Jack.
Welcome to the family, son.
Baker, also from Resi 7. And by the way, he has this signature attack too. This is very cool. I love how seamlessly the newer characters blend in with the Resi lore, along with the likes of the Tyrants. Because, let's face it, Jack in Resi 7 was more or less a tyrant in its own right, and to be able to play as him, well, I didn't see that as a negative at all. Speaking of Resi 7 and the newer 8, Village, I was hoping to be able to play as Ethan, the protagonist of these 2 episodes, and that Capcom finally take this chance to give a face to this poor guy. Also, Wesker would have been nice, but this one I'm pretty sure we will see him around.
Complete global saturation.
I also hope they will allow you to swap the appearance of Chris from Resi 7, hashtag not my Chris, for the real Chris. No, not that Chris. I mean the real Chris.
I got a shotgun.
Chris Redfield.
It's me, Chris.
Is that you, Rebecca?
We got to the root of the problem.
Barry! Where's Barry?
Perfection. Speaking of the devil, who could forget about Barry?
Jill Sandwich.
Fucking
Master of Unlocking.
Burton.
Yeah.
But also, why not having some guests
Stars.
Enough is enough!
like Dante from Devil May Cry? With his arsenal of blades and guns, would be an awesome addition. And he's more fitting than you might think, considering that the original Devil May Cry actually started as one of the many incarnations of Resident Evil 4. Or if you want something more Resident Evil related, think of Elsa Walker, the scrapped character from the prototype version of Resident Evil 2, which was later replaced by Claire. This 25th celebration for the series will be the perfect chance to actually make her official debut, as a character, not just as an alternative costume or skin for Claire. She could have her own set of skills and weapons, it would be fantastic. The possibilities are literally endless. Another thing that I hope can make its way into the final product is an option to somehow customize your characters, whether it be with different skins or even color swaps. I definitely think that characters need to be differentiated more when in the game. It is a little bit jarring to see all the times 2 or more clones. Like, look how many times I got to see here 2 Jills, hashtag 2 Jills 1 cup. Look at this, out of 6 players, 4 are Claires. On a more practical level, it can also lead to some confusion during matches, because, imagine, you're shooting an opponent, say Jill Valentine, and then another opponent who is also playing as Jill gets in the way. but you really wanted to finish off the previous player and get the kill. You wouldn't know which one to hit. Yes, of course you can still see their nicknames, but in the heat of the action it can still be confusing. I also think and hope they will put more modes aside from the only one present in the beta, the classic Deathmatch. I would like to see a Team Deathmatch or even a Team Survival mode. Well, I didn't see a single AI enemy in here, so I'm not sure about the Team Survival, but the Team Deathmatch should be a no-brainer. Also, the only arena present was the police station from Resi 2. I was hoping to have at least 2, but that's okay. If it was just to be 1, I'm very glad it was it. I hope they will put many more iconic locations, including the Spencer Mansion.
Wow, what a mansion!
Or even the infamous clock tower from Resi 3, which was unjustifiably left out completely in the remake. Well, there is also the tutorial stage, which is set in the streets of Raccoon City, so we can probably take it as a confirmation that this stage will also be available in the full game. Another thing that you might have noticed is that, very strangely, this game has gone for a more comic book graphical art style. I don't think it really fits the game too much. I mean, it really does not, come to think of it. Thankfully this is just a filter applied to the screen and you have the option to turn it off. But what's strange is that this was turned on by default. I personally kept it turned off most of the time, and the times I kept it turned on it was mostly because I wanted to show you how it looks. On top of that, this filter also makes everything brighter, which really hurts the overall atmosphere and the original aesthetic of the environment. It's not bad per se, but still it's good you have the choice to keep it or not. Now let's be honest, Resistance was a far more original idea for a Resi game, but I feel that it suffered too much from, well, not being Outbreak. And as you might have noticed, our Reverse 2 isn't Outbreak. But still, that doesn't take away the fact that I had fun with these multiplayer matches. It was worth it, and it is evident that Capcom put some effort in it, especially considering it is a bonus game, bundled inside the imminent Resident Evil Village. I think they tried to give what they think fans want, to play as your favorite characters, both heroes and villains, in a competitive shooter and taking place in iconic locations from the series. And to be honest, the foundation is already pretty solid for a fun experience. I didn't feel like I was wasting my time, not at all, like instead happened with Umbrella Corps. I felt genuinely addicted and didn't want to stop playing, like, just one more. I wanted to know the in and outs of the arena, and even though there was just one and it wasn't even so big, it was well adapted to be a multiplayer battleground overall. The action was fun, really fun, and after you died and come back as a monster, you really wanted to get revenge on those that killed you. Like, oh yeah, I'll show you now. Or at least do as much damage as possible. So to come full circle and conclude with the question I posed right at the beginning of this video, what can you and shouldn't you expect from a Reverse? Well, this is certainly not Resi Outbreak, nor does it try to be. So if you simply want a competitive third-person shooter set in the most iconic locations with your favorite characters, then yes, I think you should look forward to play this. But I'm actually more curious to know your opinion on the matter. Are you actually looking forward to play a Reverse, or you simply don't care and will try it once Resident Evil Village comes out? As for myself, I will certainly do, because I will certainly get Village when it will be released, because I'm a fanboy, but a critical one. And just like you, I also do hope that Capcom will eventually bring us a new chapter in the Outbreak sub-series, or at least a remaster of the first two games. But until then, I think that a Reverse can satiate my Resi online hunger, and the fact that it's a bonus included in Village makes it really a no-brainer for me. Speaking of being a fanboy, I've talked a lot about the Resident Evil series in my channel, so if you are a Resi fan, like, let's face it, if you are here now watching this video, you probably are, why don't you take a look at my other RE related videos. Also, if you enjoyed this video, give a like or share it or subscribe if you feel like doing it. No pressure at all. There will be more Resident Evil videos coming in the future, so be sure to stick around. Thank you very much for watching this video to the end. I will be seeing you in my next one, but until then, play safe, stay safe, world gamers.